Welcome from all realms. All are welcome here. Oh, even that one. Okay. There might be some satsang fatigue. Om Karam Bindu Samyuktam Nityam Dhyayanti Yoginaha Kamadam Mokshadam Chaiva Om Karaya Namo Namaha Om Shanti 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 Om peace, peace, peace. Peace, I have peace. I want to show you something. This one. Have you all seen this one? It's so simple. It's a knotted piece of wood, and I found this some years ago, and I've had it ever since, always with me, wherever I go. Sometimes I have, other bits from my altar, but this is always with me. So, okay. Andrew.
Lots this morning.
No, it's satsang. This may be the first time ever I haven't actually had to invite you all into what you know is coming. Andrew is the first to come in this way. This you can take notes on.
Second only to the toucan that's chirping in
the
background.
To the toucan, yes, you and the toucan. Yana's claiming her slot next. Very good. Welcome, everybody. It's satsang. Otherwise, I'm a fish in a bowl. It's not so bad.
Maybe I'll dip my face in.
It's good,
so,
good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So something I've been looking at in myself is sort of, I guess to phrase it in an inquiry, it might be, what is devotion? But it's more of an exploration in that it seems as though if in the center there is devotion in myself, that flanked on all sides there's arrogance, disdain, perfectionism or neuroticism, forgetfulness, and probably many other things that I'm not seeing. Hyper self-reliance, hyper reliance on other. And I feel as though in different moments I have acted from all of those places in myself. And yeah, I guess I just would love if you could explore that, the sort of that middle way of like what is devotion, or what is devotion not actually.
Yes. So many things could be said, of course, but let's just say it very simply. Devotion is at first the practice of surrender. It means not me. This devotion means the practice of not me. In service, in pranam, means in the practice of humility, in order that we become humility itself. In humility, as humility in expression, this is not me. And this is simultaneously, this devotion is the expression, the experience of highest wisdom. The most acute, practiced, sharpened intellect can see all of the I's that you have mentioned. The I of this habit, of this proclivity, of this posture. So many aspects of I, calling itself I from moment to moment, shifting in and out. It takes a great precision and recognition to see this I and to see it moving. It moves so quickly, the intellect cannot follow it. And so surrender is really what it comes to. And this surrender is a devotion. Okay. Let's explore devotion as something different also than humility. It's the same, but let's just say it a slightly different way so that you can, I'll point to it so that you can find it in your own self. It is sincerity. It is sincerity as expressed with commitment, with discipline, actually, as expressed with the tongue in speech and the hands and feet in action. The eye of pride will make an example of its devotion as a demonstration for others to hold it in high regard. You see? But devotion itself isn't that at all, actually. And it is the practice or the process of putting that one in the light of consciousness, that it be dissolved. So all of you will notice, even in the practice of devotion, whether it's in church, being in the front row and aware of the senses, other people are watching how straight I sit or how devotional I appear. This is very common. Or in a group meditation, and one is aware of their posture and aware of the postures of the ones around them. This is good. It is, as we've been discussing, I don't know whether it's been in satsang or in individual satsangs. It's the framework of your awareness. So the practice of devotion will reveal the prideful nature, wanting to be seen as devotional. And so the practice of devotion is good so that you may all see what am I in this? Is there some I that wants to be seen? And it can become very, very subtle. Even the one of great intellect, committed to neti, to via negativa, to the path of jnana yoga. One will come to the wisest of discernments, which is this I that I am, I cannot undo. And the posture is a humility of surrender. And in that, you could say, then, only then, it is, this I is undone. This I merges into the I. Which is one without a second, without reflection. Seer alone remains. In the absence of this I of movement, of practice, in the absence of this I, only seer remains, not the seen. Even this isn't exactly true because even beforehand, you'll come to see the call and response. As you navigate these artifacts of I in reflection, subject to a world of objects, you will begin to see a dance unfolding. Call and response, cause and effect. You'll come to see it in the patterns of I, subjective I, and the patterns of subjective relative it world. So you begin to see that one and many are the same. There is a correlation. But then, what is seen is to undo the attachments, to reveal the attachments of the seer to the seen. And little by little, they dissolve. And what remains is increasing sense of freedom. The world will seem to coalesce in a way, and as the I coalesces, becomes increasingly consistent, increasingly individual. World also coalesces, merges, metaphors of all the world religions, all of history. It becomes seen as a play. And the you in it is seen also throughout history in that dance of I and other. So this merging happens, I increasingly one, it increasingly one also, until only two remain, seer and seen. Then seer alone remains, and seer and seen are merged as that. But this is a process, and the honesty of one's own experience in this is essential. So it's just a forecasting of how one is in awakening, the process of awakening, and then in the awakening, one will see that it didn't really happen in the way that you thought. You weren't what you thought you were, and it wasn't what you made it to be. In one hand, when one begins to be able to, by inference of a great intellect and a great trust in Scripture and in teaching, that the truth is one. One might say God is one. That there is no this and that, or this or that. There's simply, it doesn't even make sense, but it is thatness, suchness. So in this one hand, even just by a conceptual, some mix of scientific and theological or scriptural inference, this one holds as truth, but not by experience, only by faith. And then on the other hand, the honesty, the sincerity, the devotion even to your own path, devotion to your own sincerity of honesty, of as you are, as you think you are, as you feel yourself to be, honest in that and holding in the other hand this one truth. Knowing that what is honest is not true, and what is true is not yet honest. It is an experience of dancing in a paradoxical awareness. And at first it's very uncomfortable because the mind that you trust so much is binary, always making it this or that, always making you feel in or out, up or down. So then there's the truth, there is the honesty, and you, between the two, now you move. You move honestly towards the truth. And this means you claim your tongue from your mind. You say what you say. Your mind does not say what you say. You speak from now, and always in inquiry, never seeking an answer, but always digging deeper into who am I, what is this? In this way, one can take left and right side of mind, also moving right up the middle of this, you see? It is never either this or that, and the mind of your own experience will tell you when you're at a decision point, at an intersection, that you must choose one or the other. And the mind is so confused in this binary false choice. You do a little of this and a little of that, and you move up the middle. In this balance, one is devotional and also, how can we say? Well, when I first started offering spiritual talks, it was at Yogaville Ashram, and very naturally, it was Advaita Bhakti. One without the other is perilous. One without the other is powerless. The so-called proclaimed non-dualist doesn't see the rigidity, the fragility of the inflexibility. It is brittle and will not stand. And now this Advaita is non-dual. It is a singular truth without, there isn't any debate, there isn't any doubt, there isn't any fear. And it is. But it is not inferential, and it is nothing that can be claimed. Ever cannot be said, actually. And then there is this, so that's Advaita or non-dual, and there is Bhakti, which is devotion. And this one can be so fluid and so supple, it can't even make any progress because it is so drunk. And will just spin in delusion. And so we take this devotion and this faith in what is singular, and we move up the middle. Even as a sage, a great sage called Nisargadatta Maharaj, the collections of satsangs in the book I Am That, he says, wisdom is knowing I am nothing. This I does not exist, actually, is what he means. The I of you does not exist, and the I of I also is not. This wisdom is knowing I am nothing. Love is knowing I am everything, seer and seen. Seen as one and still apparently separate in diversity. He says, wisdom is knowing I'm nothing, love is knowing I'm everything, and between the two, my life moves. I think it's a mistranslation. I think dances must be what he actually meant. I think moves is nice, but it comes, it's dance. It's dance. You shared with me emptiness dancing from Adyashanti, and so taken by something you had bookmarked, earmarked, yes? That was an evisceration of all things relative, all things in relationship. And together, so we chuckled because it was so precise. It eviscerated any sense of something spiritual in the way that spirituality is conceptualized and enacted through the ego. And it's so fun because the title seems so sweet, Emptiness Dancing. And for that one, it is sweetness itself. So, okay, so what can you say?
I guess something that I was getting at, but maybe didn't articulate properly, is it seems I'm going to attempt to articulate this. You said at the beginning, devotion is not me. It seems there's a form of there's like a true form of not me, but then there's like a form of not me which is like abdication of okay, like you often say in satsang, don't believe anything I say, don't, take it to your own contemplation and come to your own decision. But like, who is the one who is taking it into his own contemplation and coming to his own decision of his own personal will? And where does that fit with surrender to guru, or surrender to teacher, versus sort of shirking personal responsibility and never taking something into contemplation?
Yes.
There's a bit of like a twist in my mind around this whole thing. Like, where is there pride and arrogance
versus
abdication of personal responsibility? and saying, "Oh, my guru said this. My guru said this. My guru said this."
Oh, yes.
Or
Not a good idea.
saying, my guru said this, but I chose it myself. Versus like actual surrender and devotion. It just,
Yes.
Could you see what I'm trying to get at here?
Yes. Yes. It gets so tricky because now you've been on the path and you've been sincere in the path and you've done so much reading and you've heard so many things. And anything that you think you've heard, you will not be able to hear me or follow. Mm-hmm. So there is one who felt, Nataraj didn't hear what I said. I did not articulate myself properly, which was a generosity. Probably he didn't hear what I was trying to say. Mm-hmm. And then you couldn't follow the inquiry, which was beyond even the one who was asking. Mm-hmm. And it becomes very subtle. This reflective I sense is dancing out of your control and takes you with it. Mm-hmm. So this is why Ramana was always asking, who's asking? There is invariably a seeker asking a question from a place of a binary question and response, looking for response that will solve the riddle. It will never happen. The riddle is the I that I think I am of asking isn't. Mm. And this I is so persistent, and your affinity to it, the I has such an affinity to the eyes of the I, and doesn't see the movement from stillness into the one articulating the inquiry. You see? So now, in a sincerity in this inquiry, know that there is no answer that is the final piece to your puzzle. Mm-hmm. The questioner, persistent in the question, and also resolved to not take anything as an answer, dies in the question. Questioner dissolves into the question. And then and only then will it be seen. It is very frustrating because the habit is so persistent. This I sense is so very persistent. And so this is why devotion, you give it all to Christ, you give it all to Krishna, you give it all to Shiva. Nothing can actually be said, and anything said is simply to point you into the who thinks he's hearing right now. One comes to a place of stillness of mind. That takes some time to get to, and everyone is on their way to this and in different places. There is a place where anything, okay, let's say it this way. There is a place where anything asked or answered is impersonal, and there only as a reflection, a contemplation. An inquiry means where is the subject and object in my interior space that is hearing this inquiry, and in the light of awareness, the inquiry and the inquirer will dissolve. It will take some time, usually, but actually, in a single moment or a non-moment, it can happen like this. So, in satsang, it's very common to ask a question and feel like you have not been heard. But there is no teacher and no student happening here, actually. And there is no questioner and there is no pointer, no answerer. The whole thing simply is for this inquiry. And coming to this inquiry in devotion, this is a sincerity of inquiry and devotion. This is the posture that is a humility that allows the questioner to dissolve in the asking of the question. But it's very common in satsang for all of you. You ask a question and you think that I am not answering what you have asked. It's not my job. And I'm not a teacher. And then in this, if it happens like this, seems like the question is not heard or misunderstood or even ignored, that is for your experience and your contemplation, for the one who would take the question personally as something that's meaningful to you. So this happens quite often, and we have said also, and this is not instruction. In this moment, also, you should be in inquiry about this relative I inside of you, and how these words are, where these words are pointing in you, that is some acceptance of yes, or some agitation, or something like this. So this is always that, in this moment, that. The moment the questioner in satsang asks the question, they are free from it. It no longer belongs to you. Now it belongs to this whole sangha. And what is said and heard in so many different ways, you see. This is not an instruction about how to be in satsang. It's not that, but also this is how life is itself. It is simultaneously 100% for you and equally for each one that is present in it. For each one in the woods that sees and hears the tree fall, it is for that one. You see? This wrangling with the paradox is necessary. We sort of try to wrestle it into submission. Then one will release all energy to trying to make sense of anything. And then it's simply the allness becomes a marinade for you to dissolve in. Like this. Nothing to figure out, no problem to solve, no path that you're on, nowhere to go, nowhere that you're coming from, and you simply are, and this I sense remains, and you sit patiently in devotion, undistracted in the bridal chamber. Your groom will come, relieve you of your sense of your bondage of self-centeredness, and then peace. Beyond what the mind can possibly know, peace. Beyond what the mind can call peace. Beyond even what your heart that is so attuned to your mind can experience as peace. Well beyond this. When you come to the stillness of the relative I and the silence of it, you rest there and don't accept any invitation, no matter how beautiful or how satisfying it might be. There's no resolution. You see? So for a time, this I sits in that discomfort of not moving. And then you pay very close attention and you will see that all distraction is inviting you out of this I into so many I's. Dancing in reflection and confused as to the identity. So know that really each questioner in satsang is a kamikaze. The kamikaze. The cause of all suffering in the world is simply this I that puts itself at the center, is self-centered. This I has no independent reality. This I takes all of itself from the one I, and is merely a fragment in a dream of that one I, like a character in a book, like the Andrew that arose in a dream last night. From here, from this singular reflective I, subjective I, no object can draw you out. No thought can lure you away. Because this I has already seen that all of the distractions simply lead to more and more and more and more. So one develops an honest, not rejection of thought, but an honest uninterest. I won't even say disinterest, an uninterest in thought. It will pretend to give you some revelation, some understanding. This takes some time even to get to this I. It's a very subtle place. But when you found this place of stillness where there is no mind, then no thought that arises out of this emptiness will do anything to help you. It will simply lead you back into subjectivity. When one abides in this independent I, for some time, not relinquishing its independence for relative I, then one can move. After some time, the world is seen as nothing more than appearance, dream, mirage, illusory, and quite beautiful, actually. And you move freely in it. Nothing is lost. Yogis say, I don't know, but I suspect this is also true for one who comes to this recognition. They have finished their prarabdha karma. They have finished their passion, and now they are returned to sit at the right hand of Father, like this. Means body will drop. It is said 3 days hence. In the yogis say this, and it is certainly, this 3 days is also significance to those of us who find our refuge in Christ also. And it's the same. So this can happen, or you can continue to move in the world as bodhisattva, or, maybe, I don't know. When one really comes to satsang, the question is a surrender. It is a confession. It is a kamikaze. You give your I in the question of I. What you think you understand about yourself is seen by you, and it should not be promoted or defended. I mean, if you want to be free of it, of course. This I, when you give the question to the tongue, this I leaves you on the tip of your tongue. And so it is a surrender, and it would offer no defense or promotion. Afterwards, still, I will ask you, what remains? What remains? And you see. In this, it will go considerably more quickly than trying to continue to parse these eyes. But this is also is necessary for a time to see through the confusion of the fragmented subjective I, and you study it in order to see its fundamental unreliability, like this. Okay. Good.
Thank you. I am on day 3 of not complaining out loud, and I have some further questions about what qualifies as a verbal complaint. Not to toe the line, but just so that I know I can proceed accordingly.
Now, give us some context for people who haven't been participating in your journey. You're on day 3 of not complaining out loud, and how far in the process are you?
So it's 90 days. The first 14 days, I just watched the complaints in verbal and nonverbal. And it was any minute sense of resistance, any minute, not this feeling, not even words didn't have to be present. It could just be a feeling of resistance. And I counted them on a clicker for 14 days without the attempt to stop any of it or not say anything out loud. And that ended on Friday. And so today is day 17 of 90 and day 3 of not complaining out loud. And so I'm finding, as I've been watching and actually writing down the things that I've said out loud, that I still have questions about what qualifies as verbal complaint. Again, not to toe the line, but just so that I know and can stop debating it in my head and just proceed accordingly. And the questions are, is the expression of preference complaint? And does tone and intent matter in words, or can complaint just be disguised in a friendly and a sweet tone? And if I could please just give 2 short examples of what I mean here. The first, I put on music. After a few minutes, I turned to my husband and said, I'm not really feeling this. Do you mind if I put something else on? And there wasn't a feeling of complaint or angst, but the negative, I'm not feeling this, that was seen. And the second was, I was at cook night with some friends last night, and usually we cook for many hours and sit down to eat at 9 o'clock, and by that time many of the dishes are cold. And last night we were just eating throughout the evening as dishes were ready and while they were still hot. And when we were sitting down to eat the final dish, I said that I really enjoyed that we had eaten as we had gone and while things were still hot. And as soon as that was said, even though it was positive, it was seen that the flip side of that is the complaint against how it was normally done. And again, it didn't feel in the moment like it was said friendly. There was no animosity in either of these instances. And certainly the resistance in each of these instances are seen, but is it complaint?
Yes. Okay. Very good. There are 2 forms of expression that come from the tongue in speech. One is to claim it as true, and the other is to confess it as I want to be free of it. But actually, in truth, expression means express, means what? Express means fast, expedient, yes, quick. But it also means express, which means like a mother's milk. It's given, it's offered, it isn't claimed. It's expressed. It is a confession. It is seen as untrue and said in order to be free of it. This is not complaint. Complaint is there's agitation and you say it to say it's true. And in that you claim you're victim to your own agitation and this is suffering. So know this, there are these basically 2 forms of what is said. What is said to claim, to promote, to defend something, or to obscure something as some kind of obfuscation, some kind of hiding. Promote, defend, hiding. These are all strategies of expression by the ego of great complaint, is complaint. Complainer, complainant, the entire thing, you see? Oh, and this is known by the contents of the heart at the time of expression. It is seen. It is seen. Most likely, it is also heard by everyone. And now, it will either invite them into the same complaint or different complaint, and this is usually what is called friendship. The proper form of expression is surrender, is confession. So agitation is your great blessing to see what remains in you of this self-centeredness that is agitated by the circumstances that challenge what you thought was your peace. So whether, all of a sudden the music turns, you come to a place where you are okay with the music being whatever it wants to be. First, before any expression, you come to the place of total acceptance. It doesn't mean, you have to, this isn't some kind of martyrdom. This is simply conscious awareness of the agitation. You're not becoming a good person or a good yogi or a good Christian by being okay. And, it isn't like this. No, this is you become in acceptance of what is. And then when your heart is clear of this agitation, then you can change the music. And anything else is overthinking it. Okay? Which, yes, you understand that. Now, I'm going to add another complexity to help you overthink it some more. In one moment, what is said as a confession, already said in the manifest, and you've spoken it, in the next moment, it's a complaint. The you that said it is now the you that is an observation of saying it and reclaimed it. You are all doing this all the time. You say something in earnest. Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. This is a very common one. And in that moment, it is meant. And in the next moment, the sincerity is stolen. And you have stolen back your complaint. It's very common. No need to be in opposition to this, but only to be aware of it is that the ego, the I sense, the subjective I is so fickle, so fluid. And the one identified in this doesn't know it. It is this, what's so fun? Probably most of you have seen this. In Lord of the Rings, there's that hideous creature. What's his name? Gollum. And he's got the ring in his cave alone, and he's become hideous, and he's like, my precious. Isn't it like this? Yeah. It's like this. It's like this. But the good news is, this is what's at the heart of all possession from this relative subjective I that has stolen the identity from the original I. And this, and so this is the process of just, you don't claim anything, nothing to promote, nothing to defend. First, before you speak, come to find out who's speaking. Really, if one is serious in their spiritual path, they must first learn to pause before speaking. The words are so powerful, and you don't know who's speaking through you, what's speaking through you. If it is a complaint, it also is a prayer, Prayer of thought is prophetic and creative. Prayer is so powerful, and you are always praying. Prayer given to the tongue, more powerful still. It is said, and resounds in the ethers that you don't even see yet, but moves out. Just like the radio broadcasts, you are also doing this with everything that you say with your tongue. And it loves you so much, it wants to please you and bring you the experience, the fulfillment of your complaint. It's true, actually. This is why, really, isn't it why that you have undertaken this most sincere and difficult 90-day experiment in non-complaining? Why else would you do it except for to be happy? Isn't it all you want? But really, when one comes really in sincerity on the spiritual path, one must put an end to articulated complaint. So what you say in a moment is said from a place by an identity, and you just want to see, is this what I want to give to my tongue? Tongue does not belong to that. Tongue belongs to you, and you must decide who speaks with it. Is it the complainer? Through complaint means agitation is seen as legitimate, and you in resistance to it, and now you are in complaint? Yes. Well, this will be your resounding reality. and it is, in fact, what is spoken has a great effect. Is it too much to hear? I don't want you to be in opposition to yourself, but anyway, just gently, pause your tongue before you give it to your unhappiness. Unhappiness is, agitation is, and when you say it in the tenor of confession, Lord, please take this from me. I am so frustrated. I am so sad, Lord. I'm so annoyed. Please take this from me. Then you can say, it has the exact opposite effect of the one who claims it. Do you see? One is an offering. The other one is possession. Funny choice of words. Good.
The awareness dawned recently of how much shame was held underneath the surface, but I was totally unable to access it. Like, I knew it was running everything, and that in itself was like a good realization to see how much it ran everything, but I totally couldn't access it. And the light of awareness is now being shone on the actual energy of shame. And it's very intense.
No, not intense. I want to say right away.
Okay.
The light of awareness, of consciousness, is loving and compassionate and gentle. If it isn't that, it isn't that. It is shame pretending not to be shame, trying to pierce through shame as some violence against it. This is not the love of God. This is the vengeance against one's own self, shame against shame, pride against pride. It will never work. So I want you to know this. If it isn't that loving, compassionate awareness that is in full acceptance of what was, what remains, then it isn't that. It isn't light of awareness at all. It is now you pretending not to be you, very much in opposition to you. This one is not. If it isn't love, it is not true. Not true. Okay, so proceed.
It's now being felt. Like, I can feel it for the first time, sort of properly ever. Like, I think like most of my life has been spent running away from feeling this feeling.
Yeah.
And and now it's being felt, and it actually feels really good. Like it feels good to feel it. Um, the energy of shame feels like it runs like all the way down. Like it's not just, you know, some stuff that my parents said to me when I was a kid. It's like deeper and more fundamental. And so my question is, what is it? What is shame? Like, can you just talk about that a bit? Just explore it a bit.
Yes. It is the seed of reflective I. It's ego. It is the ego itself. It is the origin point of separate self and in conflict with self and with world. It is the original confusion, the original identity theft, light stolen, wants to be seen rather than to see. That's it. It is the and as we've explored, shame and pride are not different. They're the very same one. In different, you could say, in with different expressions, but I'm going to share with you again a very profound experience for me when this one came to that recognition in the fullness of shame, that all the way to the seed, that what I am is that, what I thought myself to be is none other than that. This one in that moment dropped to its knees, to his knees, sobbing, and rather naturally expressed it this way, mea culpa, out loud and sobbing alone in his apartment. Mea culpa, mea maxima culpa. Immediately, God swoops in and says, no, come, stand with me. It is forgiven. It was forgiven. It's already forgiven. Even if it's only metaphor for you, this one said, I didn't die for you so that you could judge yourself. It is done. So hard to stand up from this place. Everything that I was so ashamed. And I felt it in a flood of emotion and knowing, clear. In this, it is seen in this separate doership, I was every man and every woman and every child of all time, in all of history. I am that. I did that. And I will, of my own movement, do it again, unless I surrender. This was a profound moment. And then I share it with you, not to say anything about me, because in truth, that one isn't really here anymore. But there is that. And I share it with you so that you know that it is forgiven. And anything other than a loving awareness is not true. God is not judging you. You alone judge yourself. And you alone judge everything else. And in this recognition of it is understood, this one passes their very last judgment. This is the last judgment. And it is the end, the apocalypse of the ego. life continues. Life continues, and you will live knowing life as life itself and know everything preceding that as prior. So this, I really want you to invite this in your deepest inquiry, that of shame, that shame's shame will perpetuate endlessly your suffering and the suffering of all of those that you hold in the same self-contempt. It's really not different than the first inquiry. You come to see there's nothing to do but surrender. But this is important for everyone. Please hear this. If there's even a hue of shame, it isn't true. It isn't the pure light of awareness. The preachers, pundits, even great saints can still spin on the wheel of shame. So that one who feels the shame walks out of the shadow of ego and into the light in full surrender, full confession. I that I thought I was did all of that. None other did it but this I. In that surrender, totally out of shadow, out of hiding, into light of pure loving awareness, then this one is seen: of myself I do nothing. Of myself I do nothing. Isn't it funny? Jesus says, I'm not the doer. I thought that was preserved for Yoga Vedanta. I'm not the doer. Shame and pride will continue to put you in the position of doership and sufferership and complainer. Oh, okay? So maybe it will, and now you just are in this marinade of the loving awareness. But please always remember, God is not a judge. The one God that is pure love, that has no opposite, is not judging you. Angels may judge you. Demons may judge you. So many realms of so many emanations of the one light. But this one light does not judge you, never has, cannot actually, not possible. So, maybe a bit of poetry, but a poetry that will point you to your truth.
Can I ask one follow-up?
Yes, please.
The question is coming up, and maybe I don't need to know. Maybe it's not knowable, but where does it come from? Like, what is it?
Yes. Well, there's so many beautiful ways to say, but don't bother. It's not important. It means nothing to you, actually. It will just distract you into all manner of trying to understand. And all understanding will only come through a reflective mind and will keep you spinning. And there are so many beautiful examples of it, though. So many beautiful things. But just know that somehow this I that was borrowed from the I turned to its own reflection and lost itself in it. Like the story of Narcissus, seeing the beauty of his own face reflected in a very still pond. the original I sense now turning from the light to the reflection and then lost. You know, so mesmerized, he just comes closer and closer. This is trouble. And then what happens is one mesmerized by the reflected light then submerges into the subaquatic, let's say, into the refracted light. But there's so many stories. There's so many stories that will tell this same story. But anyway, doesn't really matter.
Morning. Uh, it's this is very strange to speak just in general lately. There is a specific question, but I'll just say that it's so strange. It's also not strange at all. That because the I that is spoken refers to the speaker, not to I. This is seen. Also, I brought this up this past weekend, and I said something like "humble me," and I think that it was because it was seen that there are thoughts that are still poisoning this or interpreting an experience and warping it in some way, distorting the perception. So I'm seeking some guidance from this place.
Yeah. It's very simple. It's a bit like the first inquiry. I will pretend, this false I will pretend to be not I. It's a bit of an acrobatics, you could say, a shape-shifting, a morphing. And the habit to know itself will persist and can only know itself in reflection. And this reflection will draw it out of itself because of the habit of attachment. So this can happen, and it will seem, everything always seems strange at first. There's an awareness that something is speaking. But who needs to figure it out? Who even says it's strange? You see? It's the most natural thing, in fact. And the experience of this, you could say, is the most intimate. Is the most intimate. The most alive, actually. It detached, but not distant, not aloof. So there is remember this, as you move into, zoom out, expand ever more into love, peace, awareness, there is this pattern that I want you to become aware of, is that you take the old you with you, and that one still has commentary. But it's like an echo that will fade. And you shouldn't give it any, I mean, you can, of course, if you pay attention, but you shouldn't give it any real, don't hand it the microphone, because it's trying to understand something that it cannot understand. And if you entertain that, if you indulge that, then it will simply delay the unfolding. Is it too subtle, this?
May I ask?
Yes, please.
There's a character says, "I see what you're saying, And then there's a noticing of a belief, wants to believe that I am that one that sees that. This clarifies. Thank you.
Yes, that's exactly right. Very good. And then you saw that you saw that. Yes. And you see the pattern of it, and you see that the pattern will continue unless you disengage with uninterest. I want to remind you again here, this does not lead to aloof and distant. Not even close. And this is, you know, at first it's a bit strange, but like anything, so is anything you've ever done in your life strange and awkward at first. There is nothing to claim. Nisargadatta didn't say, I am nothing. He said, wisdom is knowing I am nothing. Do you see the difference? There's nothing to claim. Anything to claim is that Narcissus, that engaging in reflections. When you cease to be drawn out, mesmerized, entranced, hypnotized by reflected light of world, which is suffering, which is your suffering that you are so generous with, when that is released, you will see the original light as it has always been, clarified. And what you will see now is love, and you will be this love, and this is what you will be so generous with. Nothing of value is lost in your hypnosis to reflected light. But you see, this is how it is, and it will go on infinitely. Reflections reflect on reflections. I see that I see, 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 I see. Enough. How far do you want to follow it? No and then. No and then. Just this now. The eye of habit and conditioning of karma is very uncomfortable in stillness. What is that to you? Discomfort is seen. Now, for a time, for maybe even for a long time, for many of you, you will be compelled in this identity, and you will follow it over and over. Just simply pay attention, keep bringing it into the light of awareness. That's all that's necessary. The light of awareness, I will remind you again and again, the light of awareness that has some judgment, some opinion, some preference, isn't that. It isn't that. Also reflected light. You will know the original light by love, as love. How was it? Somebody handed me a book. I don't even remember who the quote was by, but it says, the title of the poem was Liar. If talk of God does not comfort you, it is a lie. It is forgiven. You need only receive it. The posture of receiving is total sincerity, of humility. It is forgiven. Will you be forgiven? Like this, a bit poetic maybe, but then it means that it's not up to you to figure out who you are. You simply are, and leave all of the contemplations at the door, across the threshold of the Yes. Okay. So, something more?
Mm. Yeah. Thank you, everyone, for bearing with me. Because I just want. This is totally uncaused. It has, it,
Period. End. This is without cause. And without cause, no effect, and no one to suffer this recognition. Anyone wanting to have some kind of sentimental, emotional response, allow the response to come through. You don't suppress anything, ever. No suppression. No rejection, but no indulgence. There's nothing to figure out. It's like, at this point, it's simply like one vomits, and there's no need to go, messing around in it to figure out what you ate. It's done. Anything that will attract you in the mind to understand what does it mean it's causeless, well, now you start the wheel turning again. Don't worry, the wheel will begin to turn of its own accord. It's been well wound, and you just keep coming back. You just keep coming back. It moves of its own. This is Maya. The world turns, doesn't it? World turns. Cause and effect are not different. When this is seen, the story, story, absence of time and space is not story, is it? You can't have story without beginning, middle, and end. You can't have story without Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva. Huh? You can't have story without, in the beginning, Alpha and Omega. You see? But this I am precedes even Abraham, Jesus said. What do you need to know now? What do you need to ask now? Now you just sit and marinate in this. And there's no one to be concerned if it seems to reanimate you and it. You don't fret. All of your weeping and wailing, all of the bodily responses, the nausea that besets you, all of that, you just let it go. There's no problem. Doesn't mean anything, and there's nothing for you to solve in it. This is the express. Yeah, please.
I thought I would be excited. Nope.
No, it's excitement belongs to the ego. Ego doesn't want anything to do with this. This is love without hate or jealousy or pride or shame. There's no. It's absolute. The ego thrives on contrast, excitement, and depression. It's a non-happening. If it's causeless, then anyway, you just sit in it. Yes, you can notice these things. Curious. No excitement. Don't make anything of it. And mind can become all a tither with nothing to figure out, no problem to solve. Mind does not want anything to do with peace. Mind doesn't want anything to do with undifferentiated, without contrast. It doesn't want... Mind cannot know not to. Mind itself is an instrument of division, dividing, inquiry. Call off the search. Ego is born in the world and moves into and through the world, accumulating knowledge, accumulating things and experiences and people and relationship, accumulating. It reaches its furthest extent, comes to, this isn't working. And then being an accumulator, it starts to move into what it calls spirituality and accumulating wisdom, accumulating spiritual relationships, accumulating more and more texts, more and more teachers. All the while promoting itself, defending itself, hiding its true nature. Same thing it did in the outward movement is doing in the inward movement. And then this is seen. And then what? And Andrew, and then what? Now what? What more do you want to know? What is the next thing that's going to deliver you from suffering? You see? So this is the end of accumulation. One now moves into surrender. Of all things means attachment to things. Attachment to world things, attachment to spiritual things. Attachment to worldly knowledge, attachment to spiritual wisdom. This is the unlearning, the undoing. Ego in process of undoing dissolves, becomes like a drop of water in the ocean, undifferentiated. Who is speaking? Where is this drop? Where is this drop? Now, still not done, but no doer to do anything. So now you just be. You don't reach for anything. You don't run from anything, and you do not hide. Are as you are, in a total humility, a total honesty of this, whatever it is that remains. That's it. Now it takes time to know the timeless, but the effort is done. The effort is done. The effort, if you could say, is to remain effortless. Remaining effortless does not mean you don't wash the dishes. Doesn't mean you don't go to work. If you have resistance to these things, then more detaching to do. Okay? So you do what you have So you're detaching from the relationship with the doing. Doing will continue. Huh? Okay. Wait, still frozen? No, okay. Okay. So, so if there's still resistance to doing, there's still undoing to do, detaching to do. Yeah. One more thing of any urgency. No. Okay. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. May all the beings in all the worlds be happy. May all the beings in all the worlds be free. Om. Peace, peace, peace. Amen. I'm very pleased with how satsang is unfolding into this most sincere inquiry, less and less about how to navigate the world, more and more about how to detach, how to be free. What is true? Very pleased. We come as that which we are stepping into Sangha, stepping into satsang, stepping into church. This church. And in that simple act, bringing oneself into awareness, everything happens actually. You don't need to struggle. You simply come and sit and marinate in it. If you do that, you'll see. Come receptive. This will help. This will help. But this is good, very good. Okay.